Hello, welcome to Rays of Sports. Today we will be looking at the 15 most successful English clubs by major trophies won. Stay tuned. Football is about winning. Not everyone can win, but that's always the aim at the beginning of a campaign, and some teams have proven to be better than others at collecting silverware when all's said and done. English football is full of prestigious and historical teams that have long histories of picking up the biggest honors on offer. To establish what counts as a major trophy, however, there need to be rules put into place. Squawka has ranked the English clubs with the most major trophies in the history of the sport. However, not every competition counts towards this total. Within these rankings, 7 competitions are recognized as major trophies: First Division/Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, European Cup/Champions League, UEFA Cup/Europa League, Cup Winners' Cup, and Conference League. Competitions including the Community Shield, Intercontinental Cup, and FIFA Club World Cup are not regarded as major trophies. So, without further ado, here are the 15 most successful English clubs by major trophies won. Number 15. West Bromwich Albion. West Brom have won 7 trophies. West Bromwich Albion has found the majority of their success in the FA Cup, having lifted the historic English trophy on 5 separate occasions. There's only one First Division title in the trophy cabinet at the West Midlands club, which was secured over a century ago in the 1919-20 campaign. In the 21st century, the only honor the club has won is the championship title in 2007. As was the case with Sunderland, West Brom became one of those teams that bounce between the top 2 divisions in England, but the Baggies have rarely looked likely to win any of the domestic cup competitions in recent history. Number 14. Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield have won 8 trophies. Sheffield Wednesday was one of the founding members of the Premier League in 1992. However, their last triumph in the top flight came almost 100 years ago, in 1930. This was the last of 4 league titles the Owls have to their name. A League Cup success in 1991 was the most recent of their 8 major trophies, and that competition is perhaps the most likely avenue to add to their haul. Sheffield Wednesday has been going between the Championship and League One in recent times, meaning a return to the top tier is unlikely at this point. Number 13. Sunderland. Sunderland has won 8 trophies. Sunderland is the second team to make the list that isn't currently plying their trade in the top flight of English football. The Black Cats were a yo-yo team in the 2000s, jumping between the first and second tiers of England. Unfortunately, there was no sign of silverware being added to the trophy cabinet at the Stadium of Light in that time. It could be a slight shock to learn that the club has actually won the First Division 6 times. 2 FA Cups add to that to make the 8 major honors in their history. The reason it may be unknown to many is that the bulk of that success came all the way back in the 19th century. With that being said, Sunderland has lifted a trophy more recently than their arch-rivals, Newcastle, winning the FA Cup in 1992. Number 12. Wolves. Wolves have won 9 trophies. The most successful period of Wolves' history came in the 1950s, as the club won the First Division 3 times and an additional FA Cup during that 10-year period. There was even talk of Wolves being one of the biggest clubs in English football at the time, before a sharp decline took place. While they have lifted 3 lower league titles in the 21st century, the last major trophy they won was the League Cup in 1980. Strong runs in the FA Cup and Europa League under Nuno Espirito Santo had some believing the next accolade was in sight in the modern day, but we are yet to see a big trophy head to Molineux. Number 11. Nottingham Forest. Nottingham has won 9 trophies. It's common knowledge to many that Nottingham Forest was previously a brilliant team, as their status as a giant club remains to this day. Years of second-tier football haven't even been enough to bring down the reputation of the 2-time European Cup winners. Brian Clough is held in the highest regard possible by fans and fellow professionals who were around during his peak years as a manager. He was the boss for Forest's only First Division success in 1977-78 before leading the side to glory in consecutive European Cup campaigns. They have returned to the Premier League, and efforts are certainly being made to move back towards glory, but it is yet to be seen if it will be possible in the coming years. Number 10. Newcastle. Newcastle has won 10 trophies. Newcastle United also make the top 10. It wouldn't be a surprise if the Magpies were to add to their tally in the next few years given the wealth of their owners. Eddie Howe's men came ever so close to adding the EFL Cup to their total, which would have been enough to move clear of Blackburn, but defeat in the final against Man United put an end to that dream. As with a number of other clubs on this list, the supporters of the club have been starved of success in the past few decades. Newcastle's last major honor was the FA Cup in 1955. That's over half a century ago, and everyone associated with the Tyneside club is hungry to get their hands on much more silverware in the not-so-distant future. Number 9. Blackburn. Blackburn has won 10 trophies. Blackburn Rovers fans have had to deal with life in the second tier of English football for over a decade now, but they still remain one of the most successful clubs in the country in terms of major honours. Rovers were the first team not named Manchester United to win the Premier League trophy, doing so in 1994-95. That was a joyous occasion for the club with Alan Shearer and Chris Sutton scoring goals for fun, but it would also be the beginning of the downward spiral. There has been no hint of success ever since that triumph almost 30 years ago. The other 9 major accolades came in the 19th century and the early part of the 20th. Number 8. Everton. Everton has won 15 trophies. Speaking of trophy droughts, Everton hasn't won anything since 1995. The Merseyside club lifted the FA Cup at the end of the 1994-95 campaign, but haven't really come close to adding to their haul of 15 on too many occasions since. A defeat in the final of the same competition against Chelsea in 2009 is the closest the Toffees have come, and even that was in 2009. However, Everton was a force to be reckoned with in the first few decades of the 20th century, and then again in the 1980s. The club has 9 First Division titles to its name, as well as 5 FA Cups. They may not have won a European Cup in their best days, but there was a Club World Cup triumph. Number 7. Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham has won 17 trophies. Tottenham often finds itself as the butt of the joke for rival fans due to their lack of recent success. The last time a major piece of silverware was brought back to the white side of North London was in 2008 after Jonathan Woodgate scored the winning goal in the League Cup final against city rivals, Chelsea. While this may be a source of frustration for fans that have gone through this dry spell with the players and managers in the past 15+ years, it also shows just how successful the club was prior to 2008, as Spurs are still comfortably in the top 10. The bulk of the 17 trophies won by Tottenham are represented by their 8 FA Cup triumphs. Number 6. Aston Villa. Villa has won 20 trophies. Aston Villa is comfortably in 6th, ahead of Tottenham and Everton. Not many of these 20 major accolades have come in the club's recent history, although Unai Emery looks like he could be the man to bring success back to Villa Park in the near future. Some modern fans may be unaware that the Villains lifted the European Cup back in 1982. This puts them level in continental success with Manchester City and 1 trophy ahead of Arsenal in this respect. Villa is a giant club with a long history, which includes 7 First Division trophies, with the last coming in 1981. Number 5. Chelsea. Chelsea has won 25 trophies. Chelsea had enjoyed moderate success before Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich took over the club in July 2003. A First Division title and a few domestic cup successes were still impressive to have in the trophy cabinet, but Jose Mourinho's appointment in 2004 was the real turning point in the Blues' success. The Portuguese manager was the first boss given an extremely healthy transfer budget at Stamford Bridge, a theme that would continue until the present day, and he had instant success with back-to-back Premier League titles in his first 2 seasons in West London. Since then, they have won the trophy a further 2 times, as well as 2 Champions League triumphs and a host of cup successes. Number 4. Manchester City. Manchester City has won 26 trophies. Manchester City were crowned Champions League winners for the first time in their history in June 2023 after they defeated Inter Milan in Istanbul. Rodri scored the only goal of the game as Pep Guardiola's side won 1-0. City also won the Premier League and FA Cup in the 2022-23 season as they completed a historic treble. The citizens have now moved above Chelsea and into fourth when it comes to English clubs with the most major trophies in football history. They are now just 4 major trophies behind Arsenal in third. But they have a long way to go to catch Manchester United and Liverpool. The reigning champions have lifted the Premier League 7 times, and their dominance looks set to continue for the foreseeable future. Number 3. Arsenal. Arsenal has won 30 trophies. It's been 2 decades since Arsenal last lifted the biggest trophy in English football. That triumph was perhaps the most impressive success the division has ever seen, as Arsène Wenger's side, filled with stars such as Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, and Robert Pires, won the league title without tasting defeat in a single game. The Invincibles were the last Gunners side to win the Premier League, but the North London club has boosted their tally to 30 with numerous FA Cup successes since. The last decade has seen Arsenal lift the FA Cup 5 times, with the most recent being Mikel Arteta's first piece of silverware under the current boss, Mikel Arteta. Number 2. Manchester United. Man United has won 43 trophies. Manchester United fans will be forever grateful for the vast amount of success brought to the club by Sir Alex Ferguson after the ex-Aberdeen boss dominated the Premier League with the Red Devils. Each of the 13 Premier League titles the club has lifted was under the Scot. They were already a huge club before their historic manager took over, having won the English top flight 7 times before the inception of the Premier League in 1992. United has had less European success than Liverpool, winning 3 Champions League titles and a Europa League under Jose Mourinho in 2017. Number 1. Liverpool. Liverpool has won 46 trophies. The Reds are the English club with the most major trophies won in football history, 3 ahead of their fierce rivals following their Carabao Cup final victory over Chelsea in February 2024. Jurgen Klopp is the man to have guided Liverpool to the top of this list, as the German has won the Premier League, Champions League, and both domestic cup competitions during his glittering tenure at Anfield. Liverpool was a dominant force in both England and Europe historically, particularly between the 1970s and 1980s. It was during the Premier League era that the trophies began to dry up for the Merseyside outfit, although a treble in 2001, comprised of the FA Cup, League Cup, and UEFA Cup, has helped them to solidify their place at the top. So, there you have it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Until next time, this is Rays of Sports. Thanks for watching.